Welcome to another episode of Simon Says, where facts come first. I'm your host, Jenny Simon. And today we have a special guest. 5 years ago, sometime in 2019, the CEO of Monk Pure Water Company, Ms. Rolanda Mcqueen, took the Spicemas Corporation to court over sponsorship rights. Monk Pure was told they couldn't sell their water at any official Spicemas events since one of their official sponsors was a water company, a local water company. Exclusive rights was given to Glenelg Water as the sole water company, and their water was the only water to be sold during the carnival season at any Spicemas event. Recently, there was a judgment handed down, a ruling in the High Court in favor of Monk Pure, handed down by Justice Glasgow. The ruling states that Spicemas has acted unfairly and indiscriminately. We're going to start off by playing a clip from the attorney at law, Ruggles Ferguson, KC, who was the lawyer representing Monk Pure Water. Let's hear what he had to say, and then we'll bring in Ms. Mcqueen.
Well, first of all, it's important to understand the background to this whole matter, which arose in 2019. The judgment has only just been delivered, but it's a matter that goes back to 2019. And basically, what happened by way of just factual context is that since 2018, September 2018, Monk Pure expressed an interest to Spicemas that it wished to be a sponsor for Carnival 2019. So that was since 2018, months before, probably close to a year before the actual Carnival 2019. And we know Carnival takes place every year in August. That has not changed over the past decades. So they expressed an interest in being one of the sponsors for Carnival, and they followed up with several calls, but Spicemas Corporation was not ready at the time, did not have their systems in place to consider sponsorship and to address these issues. So eventually what happened is that the standing sponsor, a competitor of Monk Pure, was eventually announced sometime in March or April publicly to have been the sponsor of Spicemas 2019. The water sponsor, because you have different categories of sponsorship. And what essentially it meant is that the Monk Pure could not sell its products at the key Spicemas events, as usually happens with sponsorship. And more importantly, on Carnival Monday and Tuesday, on the designated route outlined by Spicemas, they could not sell their products along that route. So the vendors, neither themselves nor the vendors could sell their products. So basically what they did, Monk Pure did, was to challenge Spicemas's exclusion of Monk Pure from the sale of its products during the Carnival period, and more importantly, on Carnival Monday and Tuesday on the road. Because one of the things that we have to understand is that probably water is the most important product for Carnival. From the young, the very young, to the very old, drink water. is the neutral drink for Carnival, and it's a time and opportunity for all to make additional money during that particular period, which is the single largest cultural event in the country. So it was against that background that Monk Pio essentially went to the court and said, listen, you have treated with me unfairly. I expressed an interest. I was not subject to any process, or you had no process out there, and then you arbitrarily selected my competitor to the exclusion of me to be the water sponsor for Carnival. So that, in essence, in a mouthful, is the factual background to it. Now, so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is the judgment, and we, as part of the relief sought from the court, was a declaration that Spice Mass did not follow the procedures laid out in the Public Procurement and Disposal of Property Act, a 2014 act in Grenada, and that as a public body, they were subject to that act, one, or alternatively, they didn't follow the what you call common law due process of fairness as a public body. So what the court essentially ruled primarily is that the Public Procurement and Disposal of Property Act did not apply because they were raising money and as opposed to spending monies. And so that was the ruling of the court. We held a different view, of course, and but they agreed with the fact that one, Spice Mass as a public body ought to have had very clear procedures regarding sponsorship. One, these procedures ought to have been advertised and published to the public. And three, water persons interested or entities interested in being water sponsors would have an opportunity to apply, an equal opportunity to apply, and those applications would be considered and a selection made thereafter. So, and of course that was not done. So they basically ruled that Spice Mass breached its duty, its common law duty to act fairly, and made that important declaration. Now, this is a matter between Spice Mass and Mcqueen and Spice Mass, but it has implications in relation to all public bodies, and that's the importance of the judgment, really.
Wonderful, wonderful. So a bit of education there. Very, very interesting. Some very interesting stuff there to note. Today I have with me on Simon Says a familiar guest, Ms. Rolanda Mcqueen, to discuss the ruling and its effect on us as a people. Hello, Ms. Mcqueen, and welcome to Simon Says.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It seems like I'm a regular.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you here. Congratulations are in order. You've heard your attorney, Mr. Ruggles Ferguson Casey, on the judgment handed down. How do you feel, Ms. Mcqueen? How do you feel about this?
I feel great. And I just want, it was a big challenge, but one of the reasons why I feel great, I think people have to realize that the government is us and we all should be treated fairly. We all are working to build our country and we all should be given that opportunity, every one of us. So I think now people can step up, people that have businesses and feel that they are not getting a fair chance. I think now is the opportunity for them to challenge things that they think is unfair rather than going home moaning about it and getting their blood pressure up.
Yeah, what was interesting to me is the way he explained it and the fact that public entities not supposed to hold on to these things as if they belong to them, and that it should be, as it says, public, and that everyone should have a fair chance. And we see there's a lot happening. We get into it, the nitty gritty lower down, but it's important to know that the public entities should be treated as such and not handpick individuals and companies and so friends and relatives and that sort of thing, but give everyone a fair chance. And I like that. That's very much.
What surprised me most of all, Jenny, is the lawyers. I remember sitting in court with Mr. Ferguson, and there was lawyers, which we will call the popular lawyers over here, laughing at me, thinking that I did not have a case. That worries me, that we have so many people, lawyers, and so many people has been treated unjustly. And if I had gone to any of these other lawyers, I would have thought maybe don't go ahead. But what the people has to realize, every one of us, it is our duty to build our country, to build our economy, and we should be given the opportunity to do that. The best person wins. Favors should not be the type of things. If you know somebody or what area you're coming from, that shouldn't qualify you for the job. The job should be given to the best person, and the opportunity should be given to every one of us, because it is the government duty to be fair to everyone. One of the things again, SpiceMass had said they were going to do a full investigation, and this is the type of thing you hear a lot in Grenada. We are going to do a full investigation, no stones unturned. There will not be a full investigation. And they have said that to so many people. And when we are working with the government and some representative comes and say we are going to do a full investigation, they owe it to the public to do that. They owe it to us to do that. If we hear of something that somebody is doing that is not right, the government should investigate and give the public an answer. If somebody is doing something in my company, I would investigate and give my customer an answer. But it seems like nobody answers to anything once it's when it comes to the government. And remember, this problem wasn't with this present government. It was with the old government. So I do hope that this new government make the changes what the judge says that we should do, and do not carry on business as usual.
Well, let's listen to Mr. Ruggles Ferguson QC again as to what should happen and what should SpiceMass do.
In essence, that's what it came down to. That you invite, here it is, the very first entity that applies since in September 2018. That entity applies and says, I am interested in being a sponsor. You are the public body. Carnival is coming in August 2019. It's a fixed date. It's a date that does not change. And therefore, you must have systems in place to ensure that at the end of the day, you are fair in your dealings as a public body. That everyone or each entity who can possibly be a water sponsor have the opportunity. Now, they may ignore it. They may not wish to be water sponsors. But you must give everybody an equal opportunity. And that is what did not happen here. In other words, the kind of evidence was that, listen, SpiceMass or Mcqueen said it was calling regularly all the time. but he wasn't calling that regularly as they say they were calling. And there was a particular meeting in February when in which they were invited, and they did not show up to that meeting. And of course, Spice Mass Mcqueen, because there was and Mcqueen tried to get another meeting date. But what they did is to try to place the onus on Mcqueen, not on themselves, but on Mcqueen to basically, as I say, run them down to see if I could really get a bly in this thing called Spice Mass 2019. But when you are a public body, that's not the way you operate. You must have very clear and transparent rules up front. You must publish those rules. You must invite applications. You must set deadlines. And then you must make an objective choice. And what happens by doing so, by introducing that element, is that you allow for greater competition and, in fact, greater sponsorship.
Say your thoughts, Miss Mcqueen, and what you just heard from Ruggles Ferguson Casey.
I totally agree with what Mr. Ferguson had saying. I remember he was the only lawyer, I think, that was happy to take on my case. You know what? I know they're saying it's not corruption. We all look at corruption in different ways. I looked at it as corruption. And you know what corruption does to a country. I mean, I think corruption is one of the most terrible crime for a country. It destabilizes it. It's painful. Corruption at the top is painful. And for what you could give, there is 4 water companies here. And for you to give one water company the whole of Spice Mass, I think it was for $12,000.
Yes.
And $12,000 and a few cases of water. If that is not corruption, Spice Mass is one of our biggest events. $12,000, an event that brings in millions of dollars. I think one year we had more visitors than even people that is living on the island. And Spice Mass went and give it to one company for $12,000. Spice Mass, that's corruption. And I think I could call Spice Mass out because I am Spice Mass. You are Spice Mass. Spice Mass is us. And when Spice Mass is supposed to bring in the most money for Grenada. In one of our biggest events, we all should get together and work towards making sure everybody that live after Carnival, we take every penny out of their pocket. Grenada is a business. It has to be run as a business. If we do things with corruption, if I fail, Jenny, Grenada fail, you fail. That means we cannot afford to do our roads. We cannot afford to buy medicine for our hospitals. So we have to do things. And when we're doing things like that, we have to encourage everybody to step forward and everybody should put their best feet forward. But I remember going through that. And even politicians was afraid to speak up. Even lawyers was afraid to speak up. It was a very lonely time. I would have thought the human rights people or whoever it is would have stood up and said, that was wrong. The people that stood up with me are the people that was victimized and said to me, Miss Mcqueen, we support you 100%, but we cannot speak up because if we do speak up, the consequences we are going to face. And as I said, it was with the old government, and I really do hope that this new government take note.
Mr. Queen, standing up for anything, it's a lonely thing. I can attest to that. when you stand up and speak out, it's a very, very lonely place to be. Um, I had a gentleman walk up to me after a funeral last Friday and said to me that I should be in jail. And he wasn't joking. He's an NDC supporter. He is a transformer, one of the biggest ones. He was a revolutionary as well. And I would call his name. It's Mr. Brian Lindsay. And he walked up to me and said that basically I should be in jail. And that if it was back then, I would be in jail. It's a lonely thing and it's a scary thing. People, you have friends and relatives who would shun you in public, really, barely want to say hello because they fear victimization. I mean, when I was told that, yeah, so it's a lonely place, and I know how you felt. I know how you felt. But Ms. McQueen, your struggle, was it to outbid the present sponsor or just to get a piece of the pie, which rightly so you deserve and the other water companies deserve?
I it wasn't it was never about Monkey. I saw the unjust that was happening in Grenada, and so I had to do something. We sell the water anyway. We are very busy, and it was just I remember meeting a very good friend of mine, William Batiste, and that year of Carnival. And I know if anybody was going to sell my water, it would have been William. And I said to him, "What's going on, William? You haven't got my water?" And he said to me, "He is not allowed to sell my water." And I thought, no, that can't happen. Soon, the people that selling the little barbecue chicken on the side of the road, Kentucky would say that we have the right, so these people cannot sell chicken. And I thought I had to put a stop to it before it come to that. Otherwise, people will have their little barbecue stand running all around. I remember growing up as a child, this is when my parents would go and make money to send the kids back to school. This is the only time we Grenadians has an opportunity to really make some money. So when I saw that, I said, no, I cannot stand up. It's not about Monk Pure anymore. Somebody has to take a stand and let Spice must know this is our carnival. And we are going to take part in our carnival, whether you like it or not. And if you try to stop us, I'm going to take you to court. And that's what I did. And I'm so proud that now people have the opportunity to look forward to Spice Mass, to work together with Spice Mass. And I said to make Carnival very successful, not only for Spice Mass, but for all of us. And I do hope that in the next planning, Spice Mass would invite me along. So I could help Spice Mass to see how you run a business. And I could guarantee them, if they have me as an advisor on the board, this would be the first year they don't have to come and say they are broke. They have no money.
Well, Spice Mass, you hope Spice Mass will invite you. They don't have a choice. The ruling states that they have to open it up to everyone, whether they do a bidding or whether they give everybody a piece of the pie. Because indeed, there is room for everyone, and the more the merrier. More money to be made.
But Jenny,
so I can't see them pulling down monies.
You know what I would love? You have, is it the Masgra, where so many of the artists are complaining about not being paid properly. And Spice must have to realize people come to Grenada for our music, the Calypsonian, all the excitement that is going on. You know what I would love to do? I would love to give Spice Mass a competition. I would love to be able to organize a concert
As for me,
on the same night as Spice Mass, and I
you would
could
not be able.
guarantee they will go bust because I will
You
look
would not.
after the artists. But I would look after the artists and them so well that they wouldn't have nobody turning up on Spice Mass occasion. We have to empower our young people to be excellent. And we have to do that, we have to reward them. Because I had a young guy come in here buying bottles so he could pay for studio time. The amount of money our artists bring into this country around carnival time, they shouldn't have to be selling coconut water and doing these things and them to pay for studio time. They should have a top of the art studio here for our young people. Music is a big thing. I mean, when you look back, I mean, all the great calypsonian from Kitchener to Sparrow to Ajamo, Mr. Killer, this, we should be spending our money on these artists, where every year they compete to be the best. When Mr. Killer went to Trinidad, and we have to be more proud of our young people and give them what they deserve. We have to stop making people feel like the poor relatives. Let us invest in them. They shouldn't have, come on, after they're working so hard, they have to go and get money. After bringing in millions into our economy, they still have to go and get money to pay for studio time. Now, Jenny asks, answer me, is that fair?
Well, I have an advice. You can take that information to Mr. Rolanda Romain at the creative desk. Right? They have some money sitting there for the creatives. So this is a good idea, and take it to him and see where it goes from there. Now, this is what your attorney Ruggles had to say is required of Spice Mass. So you wouldn't have to sit there and say, you hope Spice Mass invites you. This is what he had to say.
And I think what is required now is that the Spice Mass sit with the legal folks, and despite the fact that there was no ruling in relation to the Public Procurement Act, and it says it does not apply, it is a very useful act. It's a very useful act, and it sets out certain procedures there, some of which can be adopted, and you never know in the future what position would be taken as far in another case with respect to the Public Procurement Act. But it provides a good guide. The Spice Mass Corporation Act does not have the kind of regulations required to give the guidance. So regulations ought to be created.
So we need regulations. And you know what, though? This is not just with Spice Mass and water. We need regulations throughout the public entities. And this is the worst I've seen it. We need regulations so that more people can be involved, and by merit, not just because you support a party, not just because your brother or your cousin is in a position to get you in. And what we see happening is a lot of wrong pegs in square holes. And I mean, it is blatant, it is there for everybody to see. And then we have events falling apart just for that reason, that we're not giving people jobs and positions by merit. We are giving our friends, our family, our relatives the jobs and the space and the entertainment positions. It all go into, if you look when there's an event, any kind of event, the athletes coming in at the airport, and you see the same faces all the time. And you wonder, what is she doing there? What is he doing there? Where is so and so person? Ms. Mcqueen, today, up to date, I have not seen the PRO for NADMA. I don't know if I missed her, but we have not seen the PR of NADMA speaking to us on anything to do with Hurricane Beryl and relief and NADMA on the whole. Where is she? And that's just an example. I mean, she's being paid for a job that she seemed to have been pushed out of. Where is she? And so this kind of thing has been happening, and we're not getting the results that we should, but it continues to happen.
Well, if we continue, if we do not make changes, Jenny, we will lose our island, because people are coming in and they are seeing the opportunities and they are taking it, and we are not being given the opportunity. If you look at this last carnival, if you saw the amount of foreign waters that was here for the carnival, if Spice Must had planned with the other water companies, we could have, if they you know, we as Mr. Ferguson says, we have carnival every year at the same time. Now is the time. Spice Must should call the water companies, sit down with us and said, how can we make sure that carnival we are prepared? You do not wait until the last couple of months before carnival and start inviting people. We should be planning 2026 carnival, 2027 carnival. We have to plan. As I always said, I don't know if you remember when I said that we said we had a water problem. And I said, how could we have a water problem when we are surrounded by water? We have to plan. And if we plan, we're going to give everyone the opportunity. Let us just let us don't close things, as you said, to our families and our friends. Let us give everyone the opportunity, because you know something, we all deserve it. When I fight, Jenny, I remember I have a school friend, and every time I speak about it, I get emotional. Venita. Venita was very, 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 very bright, but her family, you know, and I don't mean it in an offended way, wasn't maybe could afford as what my family could have afforded. And she wasn't given the opportunity that she deserved. She traveled, and she has done so well. I am so proud of her. Now, if that my friend did not travel, she would have never have given that opportunity, because she came from the wrong side of the street. We have to stop that. I've always said to people, I am dyslexic. The only thing I've ever passed in my life is my driving test. I did not understand school. My brain works differently. Now I sit on the board of GDB, and I can speak for the people that thinks like me. Give us the opportunity. Give the people that do not know how to write a business plan. Maybe that is the business that's going to change things for Grenada. Give us the opportunity. Don't beat us down. And when people in high places does something that is not right, don't say we're going to do an investigation. Do the investigation. And if these people are in the wrong, demote them. Let them know that they cannot go around victimizing people. You know, we have to do better than that. As I said, my friend, if she did not leave and travel, there is no way. And if you see how well she's doing, I mean, it is unbelievable how well somebody is doing that. If she had remained in Grenada, she would have never have gotten that opportunity.
I know exactly what you mean. I know, but you know, so that is telling us that we have to leave in order to rise to the top. I mean, that is just my daughter, who's born here, went to school here, never left but on a vacation or on business, right? She wants to be in Grenada. But if it continues as it is going, she'd have to leave Grenada. She can't stay in Grenada because opportunities are passing by and waving at her, so to speak, you know? So she's Simon Says mom. Before she was Jenny Simon Rapier's mom. I mean, daughter. I say mom, daughter. She's my daughter, right? And I'm her mom. So it is because of that, the things you're being sidelined for, right? And victimized for, because of who your parents are, or who you're related to, or who your friend or friends are. It shouldn't be like that. And we've been fighting against that forever. I fought against it for 5 years from 2008, during the 2008 or the 2013 period, actually, 2013 to 18. And now we have a new government, and they say change. We change because of the victimization. We change because of no accountability, no integrity. We change for the worse. It's not better, it's worse. It is worse. I got jobs during the NNP reign of 2008 to 13. I was employed as a cosmetologist to train workers. I never got a job on the NDC. Do you think I'll get a job now to train young people to be cosmetologists? My daughter can get a work as an entertainer. After the Up From Here song, they had another thing to raise funds for Carriacou and Petit Magny. That, even to raise funds, you're victimizing people and maligning people to raise funds for relief. She was not included.
I really hope these states would change, because Emily office is very close to mine. And this young lady, she gives so much back. I don't know if many people have heard her sing. And, I think, wow, if this young lady was in a different country, that's how she'll be making her living. Because she has an amazing voice. And maybe you, Jenny, you should let people listen to her voice. And if we are holding people back down like her, it is a shame. And I really do believe, Jenny, I personally have voted for change. I've never voted in my life. As you know, I support the Prime Minister, but my loyalty is with Grenada and then is with him. And I do believe he cannot see everything. So when we come across things like that, we have to report it to him. We have to go to him. Because if we don't, Jenny, we will not grow.
But Ms. Mcqueen, why do we have to go to the Prime Minister for that? There are people placed in positions to do their jobs. Why do we have to go to the Prime Minister? Because listen, the brother of Rolanda Romain said to us that his brother asked him to pick people to do the song. This should not be a brother-to-brother thing, to pick people to do the song. It should not be, right? Just as how the QC said the thing should be open up. It's a public entity and it should be open up. The celebrations was not the NDC celebrations. It was not Orlando Romain's celebrations. It was the national celebration, the Grenada national celebration, independence, our Golden Jubilee celebrations, right? So you asking your brother to pick people, it's not open up. Nobody knew of it until we saw it on the screen, on television. That's where I knew of it, right? It wasn't open up to the public. Come in and audition, for one. Let's hear your voice for this section. Or let's do a group thing. We Are the World. Remember that? That's that song put together by the stars in America and the UK and wherever they came together. What's wrong with that? It could have been a big group effort, not a handpicked set of people, you know? And this whole thing just brought this right back to me, that whole scenario, right back to me after I listened to the Ruggles Ferguson, the QC, the KC rather, right? It's and so now everybody's going to be looking closer. You know, we all are going to be looking closer at what happens. It's almost like these Grenada is their personal business. Theirs to hold and theirs to have, right? And if they want to give us a blight, the rest of us out here, they give us a blight. And if they don't, then we just sit there with our hands outstretched and waiting for some crumbs. But this have to change. And if it don't change, if they don't change it before the next election, it's going to change by the ballot. It's going to change by the ballot because it is worse now than it has ever been. And it's not just noticed by you and I, but by a lot of persons. Because we're talking for some people, daily bread. We're talking for some people, their way of life, or how they put food on the table for their kids. That is important. And that's when it hurts the most. And that's when people react the most, when it affects their livelihood and the livelihoods of their loved ones, be it their parents, their siblings, or their kids, their family. That's when it hits home.
Well, Jenny, I do not disagree with you, because that is the reason why I went to court in the first place, to see
And I
change.
compliment you. I compliment you for that.
And I do hope that we will see changes. We will see changes before the next election. I am confident of that.
You are. But you know something I don't know, you need to hook me up. let's play a final clip of Mr. Ruggles Ferguson QC.
You have a situation where a water company says, I am interested, close to a year before Carnival, in being a sponsor for Carnival. And you actually have that water company being ignored, and a new sponsor or a sponsor being appointed without any process being followed. But more importantly, it is not, and that is what public companies or public entities need to get very clear. When you are a public body, the rules applicable are different from a private body. And therefore, you have to set the rules. You have to put the standards in place. And then something as Carnival, you then have to say, listen, we extend applications for sponsorship. Not that you're working out with some private entity who should be the sponsor. You work out, these are the rules, you apply by so and so deadline, these are the criteria that you must satisfy. You give everybody an equal opportunity to apply. People apply. You give objective consideration to the application, and may the best man win in those circumstances. And even where the best man wins, that's the other aspect of it. You still have to find a way to try to work with other entities, especially where it's your biggest event, not just cultural event, but probably Carnival is the biggest event of the year. And it stretches over the longest period, from May to August. It being the biggest event, and you're talking about you having a monopoly over that the biggest event, you have to make sure that there is some flexibility there to ensure that everybody is able to raise some good revenue over the Carnival period.
What say you?
Well, As I said, I am really happy I had the guts to have taken on Spice Mass. And I'm so pleased that we we will put new policies into place, and where we all would feel included. We will all feel like a Grenadian. We'll all want to take part. The artists can go now and maybe sit down with Spice Mass and say, listen, you guys bring in millions of dollars, how can we work together? And let us all just work together, Jenny, and let us just make sure the next carnival, the next contract that is going to go out there, whatever it is, that we give everyone a fair share. Let us just give everyone, let's give people the opportunity, whether it's building the airport, the hotel, the road, the carnage, let us give people that opportunity. Let us just don't give it to one set of people. Let us, something, if we do that, I think we will have just such a wonderful country where people feel included, and people do not think, because I'm from Mcqueen, or because I'm from, it's only, I remember growing up as a child, they used to say it's only tongue people that get in everything, I want to see that change.
We have to change some of the executive of the country. If we have corruption at the head, if we have corruption at the top, it's going to trickle down. It starts at the head and it trickles down to the body, right down to the toe. And it is already, in my opinion, too far gone. If we have people taking money to sign over for contracts, if that type of thing, how would it change? How would it change? A leopard do not change. So what they say, when a dog sucking egg, it's sucking egg. I sure you hear your mother and your grandmother say that. When a dog sucking egg, it's sucking egg. So Ms. Mcqueen, since we're on that topic and I have you here, you're not going to escape some questions, especially one from the Grenada Development Bank. You're a director on the board, and so I have to ask you a few questions, and I hope I get answers. I mean, the ones that you can. I may ask you something that you cannot, and I understand because of your position. But was the board aware that one of his directors did the legal work for a minister of government, Minister Andy Williams, as he did business with the development bank as a client?
Sorry, can you phrase the question again? Does the board?
Sorry. One of your directors, one of your colleagues as director on the board, did legal work for a client at the bank who borrowed money, over $3 million, Minister Andy Williams. One of your directors did the legal work for Mr. Williams. Is that it? Well,
is that is that illegal? I don't know that, but I'm asking, is it illegal for a lawyer on the board or?
Well, I am not even looking at it whether it's legal or illegal, but the integrity, the integrity, and probably in my mind, borderline corruption. I would say. But is it legal? You said asking if is it legal?
I don't know. I don't think if any member of the board were to do something outside. Are you questioning it because the person is a politician?
No, they're not a politician. Who was a politician? You mean the client?
Yes. Why are you questioning the because what you were saying, somebody on the board did one of the board did some work for
No, I'm not questioning it as a politician. I'm questioning it because that person is a client of, in other words, they're a client of the bank, and we're speaking of the board of the bank. Do you see conflict of interest, anything like that there?
Well, if that is the case, I don't know the legalities, but speaking as a layperson, I would say yes. I cannot see that happening. I would like to see proof.
It's on the deed of charge, the sixth and the fifth. You can see there. We would I can share it with you, but it would be up on the site. It was there before, and we would put it back up. Now, in the sixth deed of further charge, right, on page 6, and going into the first paragraph of page 7, the surety in the deal, which is Mr. Andy Williams, right? The bank is saying, well, according to the sixth deed of further charge, that if Mr. Williams paid $300,000 by July 2023, his documents that he put up with the bank for security would be released to him. And indeed it was. So much so that Mr. Williams was allowed to sell, was able, I should say, because it is, he had it in his hand, was able to sell the house, one of the properties that he put up for security, for $3 million. That wasn't even enough to secure that amount of money. That land, the property in Montparnasse's house on property, and 2 lots of land in St. David's was given back to him because he paid $300,000 as suggested in the 6th deed of further charge, page 6, and the first paragraph in page 7. If he paid that money, do you as a board, as a director on the board, have any information on such?
Jenny,
and why that?
What I would like, I haven't seen these documents, but I will ask you to send it to me, and I will raise that with the board. Because I said, it's difficult to me. It does not sound right. But as I said, I do not, it just doesn't sound right to me. So I would really like, have you called the director of the bank and asked the question?
The director of the bank, you mean the managing director?
No, the chairperson or the managing director. And
asked. No, I haven't, but I can do that. So what I'm asking you though, Ms. McQueen, is if you are aware of such, if you're aware that the board had sanctioned such, or did the board sanction such, because it's there in the 6th deed of charge.
Jenny, I'll have a look at it, and I promise I will answer that. It does not sound right to me. I can't remember everything, but I don't believe that it's all sound very illegal. But as I said, I don't know what is that legality of the banking. So I would find that it doesn't sound right.
Okay. No, don't do me what the government is doing, the opposition in the parliament and the lower house. Not answering and not coming back with the answers. Right?
It does not sound right, because if we were to do something like that, then I will be queuing up to go and get favors as well. And I do not believe we are in the business of doing, and we have to follow the rules, unless it's a rule that, as I said, I don't understand. I cannot understand why that would have happened.
You see what bothers me here, and I tell you, and I've said it here on this program maybe more than once. I know of a young entrepreneur that went to the development bank for $25,000 to put towards their business, and it was after COVID. First, it took months, more than a year, I think, for her to get the monies eventually. And to get it, she put up her car as security. The car was valued at $20,000. The bank asked her, in order to get the $25,000, to put up $5,000 in cash, which she had to do to get the money. $5,000. She wanted $25,000. The car was $20,000. She had to put up $5,000 to get the loan. And you are giving someone who shouldn't be getting that loan from the bank at all. It's against the bank laws. It's against the act of the bank for him to be getting money in the bank. But you are telling him, if he paid $3,000 by a certain date, $300,000 by a certain date, that he would get back his security, which wasn't enough in the first place. So I'm asking now, what security the bank have for him towards the millions of dollars that he's owing? Does he have to pay it? He must pay it. He doesn't have nothing to keep for it. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, I do.
It comes back to being fair. It comes back to being fair, and that's what good for the goose ain't good for the gander in this country at this point in time. If that's persons have all the liberty to do anything, and in my opinion, are being enabled by the highest authority. This is enablement. You aiding and abetting corruption, nepotism. I mean, you just name it, which is not good for us as a people.
Jenny, if as I said, I can't. As you will appreciate, I cannot comment on any individual case, but I will not sit on any board that where corruption. I would resign if I believe look at it that way.
Well, I think you better write your resignation after this.
I was given before I make a decision on the board. First, I think, is it fair to the people of Grenada? Secondly, what would the Prime Minister think? Because I am representing him, and I will not make a decision that would bring the Prime Minister into disrepute. There is no way I'm going to do it. If there is something, because they will not say it's Ms. Mcqueen, they're going to say it's the Prime Minister. So I will not do anything where the Prime Minister would be questioned for for the truthfulness. I wouldn't do it.
Mcqueen, you're doing what everybody else is doing. Or the other apologists for the NDC. They're protecting the Prime Minister. The rest of us are here. You're hurting young people, but you saying that you wouldn't do it if it's going to affect the Prime Minister. Forget the Prime Minister. The Minister is a rich corporate lawyer. He came into this very rich. He's going to leave it very rich, richer than before, and he's going to go about his merry way and leave us in that mess. Sit down.
Can I say something? If I will speak to the chairperson and the manager, and if what you are saying is the truth, as I say, I cannot speak about any individual case, but if you say you have documents, and if anything was done that should not have been done, I will resign. And I'm saying
it's not documents. The bank has an act. There's an act that the bank is presided over. There's an act. And as I come to that, I have to ask you, because you're a director, it is rumored out there that you, among other members of the board as directors, have received loans from the bank. Now, did you know that there's an act that governs the bank which states that directors of the bank should not be given loans from
No,
the bank?
Jenny, no, this is all news to me. I personally will not get a loan from the bank if I know we are not entitled to a loan. There is no way. And I have a small loan with the bank. If this is the case, immediately I would clear it. Immediately.
And you know what, Ms. McQueen, I'm not doubting you, because that's how things are being done lately. Vike. We come in there, we did the directors of the bank, we put our people, everybody there. We didn't go through, said, well, we didn't do anything in order. Orderly, no order. There's no order amongst us. So to say to the directors, these are the acts. The bank is governed by an act, and this is it. You study it. That's before you should even be sitting as a director. And I am not sure if the chairperson of the board knew about it before either. But I know by now she knew about it, right? If she knew about it before, right? Because then she shouldn't sanction loans to any director sitting on the board and for any member of the executive of the cabinet of Grenada. The act states clearly that should not be. And if it is, the person should resign as a member of cabinet, and of course resign from the board of directors. It should not happen.
If I may add that every penny I've worked for, but we invested it in Grenada. Every penny I've worked for. And I pay a lot into our economy. But somebody, as a director of the board, if there is anything that I'm doing that is not legal, I would find out and I would make sure it is sorted out. And I will come back on your program and tell you these are the things, lots of the things you are saying to me are news, but I will not just leave it here. I will go and I will speak to the right people. And if there are anything that I've signed off on that is not legal, or I would resign. No,
and I would be sure to send you directly a copy of the act.
And I would, and that is what it's all about, Jenny. Is people seeing that is going on and speaking about it, and they shouldn't be afraid to speak about it, because I didn't know. And if you did not tell me that, I would not have known. And my closet is wide open. Anybody can have a peep in it. I will not, Jenny, do anything to my people that I wouldn't want to be done to me. I want my people to be treated fairly, just the same way I want to be treated fairly. And if there is a clause that say that we cannot get any money from the GDP, I will make sure, 100% sure, it is sorted out. I am not going to do anything that makes it look, because I am with the bank, I have favors. It's not
and
right.
You know what is worrying me? You know what is worrying me at this point? Is that $25 million of the CREF money, the insurance money that our previous government been paying for, so that we can get help now, the people of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and the northern side, is going to be put into the development bank, so that they can, the victims can go get loans. And who are going to get the loans? Because in the Grenada, if you don't have money, you can't get money. Monies are given to people with money. And so the ordinary person, the same individuals that the low-income houses that the Chinese government gave to us as a people free. These same individuals are going to suffer again because they can't afford to go to the bank for a loan. So they put the $25 million in the GDP bank for their friends again to get, and for whoever they pick, whoever they choose to get.
Jenny,
And the suffering continues amongst us.
We have to give opportunities. And at the bank, Jenny, we are changing things. I do not believe there is any member on there that would deny somebody money that is allocated to them. I don't believe, I personally wouldn't stand up for it.
Ms. Mcqueen, as it stands, it seems as though you're not aware of some of the things that happen. Maybe they don't invite you to all the meetings because you are clearly not aware of what is going on within there. You're clearly not aware.
And I will find out.
You try.
Well, I will ask questions, and whatever answer that is given to me, I will share it. Remember, I am employed by the people. I'm not employed, as Mr. Ferguson said, in a private company. Obviously, I cannot speak about individual cases, but if there are things that are happening that should not happen, I will speak about it. I'm not going to hide it because GDP belongs to you, me, and everyone else. And we have
to be bank according to the People's Revolutionary Government. It's the People's Bank. But Ms. Mcqueen, we're quickly running out of time. And I need to ask you about the road going up to Kleboni, the Kleboni Road leading up to the mountains, where your water company is situated. I remember when we spoke from up there and we had the program that we always overjoyed when the Ministry of Infrastructure contacted you and they were going to fix the road, right? Since then, I was told that they put chip stones. How is that? What's going on up there? You driving smoothly? You sailing through?
That road is like a bad scab. So as you bounce it, it opens up again. It's a challenge at the moment. We are, Jenny. It's a challenge. It's hard. It's difficult. But at the moment, we are having some mud thrown on it to make it a bit better. But if
mud.
I said it, if I said it's not a challenge, then I'll be a hypocrite. Yes, I would be lying. It's a challenge. It's that road has taken 10 years of my life. It is hard. It is difficult. It is very, very, very difficult. But I'm the type of person that I don't give up. We have a mouth to feed. We have a country to build, and I am going to do my best to make sure we do not fail. But it is challenging. It is very, 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 I mean, all of our vehicles are down. It is bad. It is bad. But hey, that's life. I do believe, I have faith that it will be sorted out in the very near future. I really, really do believe that. But in the meantime, what we have to do is just try to continue to work together, but it's hard. It's really, really, really hard.
Ms. Mcqueen, we indeed have a country to build. We cannot build a country on sand. It has to be built on rocks. I'll say no more where that is concerned. It was a pleasure having you again on Simon Says. I look forward to you coming back on in the not too distant future to bring some news for us, to give us an update on some of the questions that I put forward to you. We need some answers and from the board of directors. So we look forward to seeing you again,
I feel,
right?
Jenny, you made me feel like I just had a run with Mike Tyson.
Oh, I apologize for that. It wasn't meant to be. But I get passionate about some of these things because it touched a nerve, you know? And so I'm very, very passionate about that.
And it's your right. It is your right
Yeah.
to ask questions. And that is the only how we can do better, by we being held to account. I have no, what I, you know, it's great. It's great for
And these are not questions I'm just asking. I've been asking these questions on my program, though. Been asking them, but we get no answers. We get no answers, and that's what hurts the most. That's what hurts the most, because nobody seems to. Well, as for, you know what they say, and we'll talk for 8 days, and then we'll stop talk. We'll stop talk, and that is what they continue to go along on. So we kick the can down the road, and we keep kicking it, because Grenadians are 8 days wonders. They speak, but as long as I have the breath in me, I am going to ask these questions, right? And as I say goodbye to you, I have a list of questions that I need to ask to the government, the Prime Minister and his cabinet. I have to ask them. I'm asking, and I'm going to ask it, and I'm going to ask it, and I'm going to ask it. With me, it's not 8 days. With me, it's never ending until I get answers, until the people get answers. You see, and I'm not going to go to court for it, right? But I'll knock on the door. I'll continue to knock the door.
And I promise, Jenny, I will ask the questions. I will, in fact, send the clip to all the directors, and I will ask questions. I think it's my duty to give, if some of the things you are saying there, I will try and get more of an explanation of it, because as I said, I really don't understand. I remember I told you the only thing I've passed is my driving test.
Yeah.
So I will make sure I get answers, and I will, because this is my duty. And
thank you very much. Thank you very much. But and also, I would try to call the director, the chairperson of the board, and the managing director of the bank. I will.
Yes, I think because it's a bit unfair for me answering questions that is beyond. What did the gentleman say? Beyond.
Above your pay grade.
Yeah, that is about. This is above my pay. I think you should go and do that. I think, and I believe you get the answer. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Good to see you. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Viewers, as we wrap up, I have a few questions that I need to ask the Prime Minister and his cabinet. The first question is, who is paying to fix back the True Blue Road? For the multiple times it's being dug up, right? Who is paying for that? And all of that it should not have happened, because we want to smooth the road for the CARICOM members to drive on. So we hurriedly fixed the road in 1 week. Look at Miss Mcqueen Road leading up to her water company. Yes, she begging for it to fix. Yes, we took 1 week to fix the True Blue Road that we've been digging up for weeks now, and it cannot be fixed. Someone suggested that you build a bridge over the road instead, like a flyover, and forget the bottom road. What is the estimated finishing time for the Cliff Road project? We never heard when it was supposed to finish. As a matter of fact, I think what was said in the very first budget in 2023, that it was supposed to finish in July of 2024. But we know nothing happened then, and that it just started in April of this year, 2024. So we need an estimated finishing time. To the Prime Minister, where are you with the investigation involving the corruption within the National Lottery Authority, the NLE? Whatever happened to the letter that the then Senator Lacrette, Minister of Sports, gave to the chairman of the board, Mr. Williams Batiste, after he uncovered the corruption and he was fired immediately. Your prime minister asked to have the letter rescinded pending your investigation. How long is it taking for you to investigate? I think Lacquer did it in one day. He went down and he looked through the books, Oh, really? Yeah. Where's the rent for the building on Melville Street? Where we have a building, we paying the bank back for it, but no rent money coming into the lottery authority, to the authority. Where is that money going? Oh, that money going somewhere in St. Andrew? Where is that money? Where is the money? Where are you with your investigation? We're not going to stop asking. We're not going to stop asking. Is there an investigation to be held investigating NADMA, the alleged corruption within NADMA and the hurricane relief items? Another investigation or another complaint of the former minister is that members of your cabinet and other people involved, that there's corruption there within NADMA, Grenada, and Carriacou, right? Is there an investigation there, or are we just letting that fall by the wayside because we have to enable some of our friends, our bosom buddies, right? But we're not going to stop asking. For now, I'll wrap it up. Folks, this is a wrap on today's episode of Simon Says. It's always a pleasure conversing with you, keeping them honest. Thank you for viewing Simon Says, where facts come first. See you next time, same place, same time, same place.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.